All right, Josh, question number 5. Solve the system. The first thing I would suggest is just figure out which variables you're going to get rid of. I find that when the variables have the same exact like coefficients, you should like that's your attack. So, they all got x's, right? So ones and negative ones essentially. This one you have 3, 4, and 1. I was like, they're all different, not really the best one. I mean, the fact that y has a 1 right there. Like that's kind of useful. Over here, negative 2, 2, and then z, that's another good one. But I mean, the simple fact that all of these are just x's just really takes the cake right here. Now, when you combine them, you always want to have something like this, right? So you have x, negative x, that way it cancels. That would be the whole goal. Like, not goal, but like that's like the sweet spot right there. So I would definitely get those two, and then I would do those two, right? So if you haven't figured it out, I would be using E1, E3, right? So E1, E3, followed by an E2, E3 combination right there. Uh, and that's just so that the x and the negative x cancel, and then the x and the negative x cancel. All right. So that's my attack plan. That's what my first step is going to be. So I'm going to do E1, E3. So I'll do E1, E3 here. And I'll just write E1 plus E3. So E1 is just x plus 3y minus z is equal to 15, and E3 is negative x minus 4y plus 2z is equal to negative 18. Combine these equations together. I should probably change my pen, sorry. Negative 18. Just to combine these two equations together, and this is going to give you a new equation, and I call this equation E4. You get to honors pre-cal, they'll tell you something different, but that's fine. So we have negative, oops, my mistake. The x's cancel. We have negative y plus z is equal to negative 3. And this is my new equation, so I'll call it E4. So our fourth equation is negative y plus z equals negative 3. Hopefully I didn't do anything wrong. And then now I'll do the same exact thing. This time I'm going to do E1 sorry, I take that back. I'm going to do E2 and E3 this time. So I'll use E2 plus E3. Just to document, I like to write it down just so we know what we're dealing with. X plus y minus 2z equals 12, and negative x minus 4y plus 2z is equal to negative 18. All right, so we go ahead and combine these guys here, and this is going to give us our E5 essentially. So we have the x's cancel, pretty sweet. We got y minus 4y is negative 3y. And then we have 2z. Oh, so a second variable cancels. That's really nice. When that happens, it's just like an added bonus. We just found an answer without having to do an E4, E5 combination. So by doing this, we find out that our y, divide both sides by negative 3, comes out to 2. So we have y is 2. Now, generally, this equation would be called E5. And then we do the E4, E5 combination. So we would take E4, E5 to find one of our answers. But we've already found one of our answers right here. Now, at this stage, what you're going to do is after you have one of your answers, either because something nice happens magically, or because you've done an E4, E5 combination, what you're going to do next is you're going to plug this answer either into E5 or into E4. Now, in this case, E5 makes no sense because there's no other variable to solve for. There's just y, sorry. So I'm not going to plug it into E5. I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it in to E4. So this is going to give us negative 2 plus z is equal to negative 3. We solve this and we get z is equal to negative 1. We now have two of our solutions, z and y. We now need to find x. So the way that these problems work is you combine E1, E2, E3 twice. So I did an E1, E3 combination, and then I did an E2, E3 combination. Second thing you're going to do, what happens is give you E4, E5 right here, and you're going to solve the E4, E5 system. After you solve the E4, E5 system, you get an answer, and you're going to plug your answer into either E4 or E5. We plugged it in there. This now gave us two, quote, answers. So now that we have our two answers, we're going to plug our two answers into either E1, E2, or E3. You pick, I really don't care. I am going to pick the first equation just because it's the first equation. So I'm going to go x. That's what I'm solving for. I don't know what it actually is. Plus 3 times whatever y is. Now we just found out that y is 2, so I'm going to put in a 2 right there. Minus whatever z is. Now z is negative 1, so I'll put a negative 1 in there and get equals 15. From here, I get x plus 6 plus 1 equals 15. In other words, x plus 7. When you subtract the 7 from both sides of the equation, no, maybe I shouldn't skip steps here. X plus 7 is equal to 15. When you subtract the 7 from both sides of the equation, we get x is equal to 8. What this does, it gives us all three of the values we needed. What I encourage my students to do is the ordered triple. That means we're going to write the x first, because alphabetically it is the first letter. We're going to put the y second, because alphabetically the y is the next letter after x. And then we're going to put the -1 because z, which is -1, is the last letter in the alphabet. So we go alphabetically x, y, z, and this is our answer for question number 5 on the sample test. If you have any other questions, hit me up. I'm probably going to hit the sack right now, so you can always come by tomorrow morning, or I can answer anything in the morning. Talk to you later.